the Aftershock Vapor 15X and 17X. This is the exact same model as the Eluktronics Max 15 and Max 17, PC Specialist Viper 3, 15.6 and 17.3 Viper, keepthe GM7, Illugear Onyx Pro and Sanite Pro, and so on. These system integrators take a chassis from original design manufacturers, ODMs like Tongfang, add their own flair to it and sell it in your region. If the specs and pictures sort of match, it probably is one of the rebranded laptops. This specific model is the Tongfang GM5MP and GM7MP, both great and memorable names. I'll be reviewing the 17X from Aftershock, but also pull up the 15-inch for comparison. Here are the specs. Both come default with the Intel i7-10875H and GPU from 2060 to 2080 Super Max Q, but Aftershock only sells these two. For upgradability, 2 sodium slots, 2 M.2 slots, and a removable Wi-Fi card. When jumping from the 15X to the 17X, there's a huge bump in battery capacity and weight. It's still considered one of the lightest 17-inch gaming notebooks at 2.25 kilos, 0.8 kilos for the 230 watts power brick. The lightest is still the LG Gram 17 at 1.35 kg, but that thing can't handle a 12-watt CPU, much less a 120-watt CPU in this 17X. Ports are the same on both laptops. At the back, the Thunderbolt port has a DisplayPort 1.2, 4 lanes of PCIe but does not support USB-C charging. HDMI 2.0 wired directly to the GPU, gigabit LAN, and barrel jack for charging. On the right, microSD card reader with only UHS 1 speeds, one-time USB-C 3.1 Gen 1. On the left, one-time USB-C 3.1 Gen 2 audio port is split into a separate mic and headphone jack. Build quality, solid. The whole laptop, screen lid, keyboard deck and back panel is made of a magnesium alloy. This material is light and tough and gives the laptop rigidity and a premium feel. However, the finish on the bottom lid will trick some people to think that it's actually plastic. Nope, it's all metal. The keyboard has 4 zones of RGB backlight with this RGB strip at the front. It's a membrane, non-chiclet style type and has stable keycaps with medium travel. There's an option of picking between a 144Hz or 240Hz screen. I have the 240Hz option as it's a free pre-order upgrade. It's a 286 nit IPS, 96% sRGB, and 1021:1 contrast ratio. It's been 3 months and the pre-order promotion is still up. The all-metal body will get hot under sustained load, especially on the top of the keyboard deck at these areas. The bottom cover remains cool enough to put on your lap, even in extended gaming sessions. These rubber padded feet actually lift the laptop off the table substantially and allow air intake. Temperatures are the same with or without the cooling pad, with no performance penalty if you don't use one. Removing the 12 Phillips head screws reveals the inside. The back cover has heat pads that make contact with the SSDs to cool them. Here are the 2 fans that exhaust air out of the 4 heat sinks. This will cool better as compared to 15X as these 2 side heat sinks are actually deeper. Here are your 2 sodium slots, 2 M.2 slots, a non-solid Wi-Fi 6 card, and finally a 1.24 watt-hour battery. As is common practice for laptop models that are offered in different screen sizes, the 17X shares many of the internal components as the Vapor 15. For example, an identical motherboard, inevitably leading to empty spaces in the larger chassis. Fortunately, Tongfang has used the larger 6-cell 91 watt-hour battery from the Mag 15U or Umi Air, reclaiming back some of the unused space. They use the same 4 G-Tech branded batteries for all their designs. Those hoping for Tongfang to have a specific battery for this chassis to use the remaining space for a 6.8% larger rated capacity may be disappointed. First, for some deal breakers. If you value any of this, then this laptop isn't for you! First, the 17-inch screen. It might be too big for some people. Then, get a 15-inch version. Next, the weight. Aftershock lists it as 2.0 kg. I asked the correspondents and they did know, as I quote, "It depends on the configuration." No, that's bullshit. There will only be a minor weight difference variance for this model. It's 2.25 kilos, 250 grams heavier than what's advertised, and over 3 kilos with the power brick, while a lighter one, 15x. You do a lot of professional meetings and Zoom calls? The webcam is down here, so all your co-workers will ever see will be your fingers and up your nose. Here's Windows Hello Facial Recognition. I use my laptop in clamshell mode and the microphone will be unusable. And the microphone will be unusable. I'll go back to online. Open the lid and it sounds fine. Fans rev up and some noise suppression will kick in. And here it is compared to a USB microphone. Work around this by getting a mic and webcam if you're still adamant on buying this machine. Speaking of audio, the headphone and microphone jack is split into two, so you can't get sound and mic at the same time if you're using an earpiece with this 3-ring TRRS jack. Get an adapter like this one. So, I got this laptop from Aftershock on May 30th. The model on the box is different from the website. Don't worry about it. You still have to email Aftershock for the drivers of this machine. There's a link in the description for all the drivers of every laptop Aftershock sells, and here are the 4 models I'm talking about. If your laptop is not from Aftershock but from another reseller, please ask them for the drivers instead. Do not download this one as it's not guaranteed to work. Believe me, I tried. If you're afraid that this is too advanced, pick up the unactivated Windows option when buying your system and Aftershock will install and set up your laptop for you with all the drivers. And then buy a $30 Windows code from somewhere and activate it to get full Windows 10 functionality. You'll save yourself $130 and the hassle of setting your laptop up. Install the Control Center to gain access to your laptop's power profiles and RGB controls for the keyboard and light bar. It provides the laptop with 4 distinct power profiles from Eco, Office, Game, and Beast mode, each with its main priorities. Game mode is useless, I ignore that. The profiles can be cycled through with this dedicated button to the left of the power button. The laptop will only run in Eco mode when on battery. The battery lasts 437 minutes while watching a 1080p YouTube screen at 50% brightness and NVIDIA Optimus will kick in. This represents the best possible scenario for the longest battery life. Under normal usage, I'm getting 5 to 6 hours on average with the same settings, browsing the web, writing text documents, and watching videos. The 17X will only last like around 60 minutes when playing a game like CSGO, its performance will severely limited for the entire duration and drop to single-digit frame rates when the battery level goes below 20%. Changing the performance profile will not affect battery life or performance. You can disable this and let it drop to as low as 5% before the frame rates dip. In that case, you can game for additional 10 minutes. Around there? Eluktronics seller in North America does further GPU enhancements only to their laptops. So check out a review of that brand if you live in the region. So let's summarize this section. This is a large and heavy 17-inch gaming laptop with a bad webcam placement. Download the drivers to fix issues and it has good battery life. I'm running Cinebench R20, first with the stock settings on battery, which will force the laptop to run in Eco mode. And then stock settings while it is charging with the 2 performance profiles. Beast mode has a higher score as it does run the laptop in its highest sustained power and clock speed. I then undervolted the CPU by 50 millivolts in the BIOS and then set the fan speed to maximum. This gave the best score of 4,309 and consistently scores better across 10 consecutive runs. All tests from now will have these tweaks to show the best possible performance of this laptop. You should also use these settings if you have this laptop as a free performance upgrade, no strings attached. Here are some comparable laptops within the same ballpark of the 17X. I'll say the Gigabyte Aero 17 and MSI GS66 are equivalent. Razer Blade 17 Pro would be a more premium laptop, and the XPS 179700 is arguably the best 17-inch laptop available currently. All these laptops are equipped with the same i7-10875H, and this laptop smashes all of them. How? The combination of good cooling and the ability for a CPU to pull and sustain 115 watts allows it to perform the best among the competition. And this is the best implementation of the 10875H in the laptop, period. If you like higher tier CPU performance, the only bet will be one of these chunksters that house a desktop CPU or some AMD models with the 4800H and above. Here's a Temloop R15 on battery and power, with the aforementioned equivalent laptops, and the AMD 4900H. AMD definitely scores better in battery mode as it is more power efficient at lower wattages. The 17X also has the highest long-term CPU power of all the laptops, which makes it ideal for rendering. Just look at how the Razer Blade 15 is hampered with the CPU power limited to 45 watts. Blender benchmark will test this, and it indeed does hold its advertised 100 watt CPU power boost for the entire duration, first boosting to 4.2 GHz and then settling at 3.8. The temperature is held at a constant 95 degrees Celsius and completed the test in 11 minutes. On to GPU benchmarks. I'm testing Unigine superposition, first with battery, which will limit the GPU to 30 watts, and then with the 2 power valves. Surprisingly, there is no difference between Office and Beast mode as the GPU runs and maintains 115 watts in both scenarios. This is consistent in many games tested as well, with similar FPS numbers. Office mode prioritizes low fan noise and restricts the CPU power draw to prevent overheating while keeping the GPU at its maximum 115 watts. The fan noise is significantly quieter, and hence I recommend to use Office mode while gaming. This is a new 115W 2060 Max-P with 6GB of GDDR6 memory. Sadly, Nvidia has undervolted the memory to 11GB per second, which introduced some memory bottlenecks. The old version of the 2060 only ran at 90 watts but had 14GB per second memory. So let's fix this. Install MSI Afterburner and overclock the memory by 950 MHz to 12.9 GB per second, and we see some improvement. The 2060 in this is equivalent to the 2070 in the Apex 15 Lite since it is running at a higher wattage, essentially getting a free GPU upgrade if you do get this machine. For the best possible performance, I'll be running the rest of the test in Beast mode with max fans and overclock memory. Control tested at 1080p high, then with RTX enabled. Metro Exodus, I don't have the game. Moving on to Battlefield 5, 1080p high, then with RTX enabled. It's difficult to compare my FPS results with other reviewers because games are not consistent and I do not know the exact setting they are using. I'll just recommend you watch Jared's Tech, as he does many in-depth reviews of laptops with his own suite of tests. The general consensus is that the 2060 in this laptop would outperform many other 2060s. The same can be said with the 2070 Super. RTX games is still not good enough in this laptop, as it struggles to maintain 60 FPS. Esports titles like CSGO makes full use of the high refresh rate screen, but you still need to turn down some settings to maintain 240 FPS. It costs $600 to upgrade your GPU in this laptop to a 2070 Super. Will you be getting performance improvements? Yes. It's around 20% faster on average. Is it worth it? No, it's not. Maybe if the upgrade was 200 instead, for 600 you can upgrade other specs in this laptop, get 32 gigs of RAM with 1TB SSD with plenty of money left. So yeah, it's not worth it. Here is the Blender benchmark CPU only mode, but with one 4K screen connected, two 1440p screens connected, and two 4K screens connected. The GPU only kicks in when two 4K screens are connected, draws 30 watts, and the CPU will be limited to 80 watts with a sustained clock speed of 3.7 instead of 3.9 previously, at a temperature of 90 degrees. Your CPU performance will be impacted if you run two 4K screens like I do, or if the GPU is running simultaneously in the background, like in games for example. Now here are the recommendations. 17X will outperform any laptop out there with similar specifications due to its aggressive power delivery and cooling. In some situations, the RTX 2060 will even beat the RTX 2070 in some laptops because it is the 115W Max-P variant. This is by no means the best laptop at anything. Here are some laptops with better build quality and these have better performance. So here's the value proposition of this machine. If you're purchasing this 17X or 15X from Aftershock, it'll run you about 2.3K SGD base price, and they are charging a hefty premium. So here it is compared with other resellers with adjusted currency, most notably the MacRevo Umi Pro 2. It is literally the same Tongfang laptop with a 60Hz screen and costs 1700 SGD. However, Aftershock is the only company in Singapore to sell this model with 2-year warranty support in the country, so I have no other choice but to pay the extra 600. Now, here's Intel's situation. While comparing only CPU performance, Even Tongfang's own 40-inch chassis with its 4800H basically has the same CPU performance. At just 1.1 kilos, half the weight and under half the cost of the 17X, Intel's aging 14nm Skylake architecture cannot come close to the efficiency of AMD's 7nm Renoir, and it shows here. Where larger and heavier laptops like the 17X are needed to dissipate double the power to achieve comparable performance. But the 17X has no major caveats except for the webcam placement. Its position as a premium laptop places it under the Dell XPS and Razer Blade, while delivering higher performance for the dollar. The 17X is as close as Intel's ever gonna come to those 4800H laptops at any price and have higher tier GPU options available. No manufacturer has an equivalent option with AMD. If this is too big, get the 15X. I like 17X because I have big hands. That's it from me. See you next time.